4 different winners in the previous 4 rounds and only 5 points separating the top 3 crews at the top of the standings. At the start, the tension was palpable.
We're out here to win. It's a VW Rally. We have struggled to win the event in years gone by, but I think we've got a good chance this year.
I think the expectations are high from our side, the expectations are high from the management side, and we always go out and try our best. So, but it is a tough event. It's you know, the plantation roads are hard on the cars, but the guys have worked hard and did the preparation well, and yeah, we're confident.
The first stage of the Volkswagen Rally, Kruisrivier, was a tar stage just outside Uitenhage. At just less than 1.5 kilometers, it would set the scene for the battle ahead.
First on the road, the team total pairing of Etienne Lawrence and André Vermeulen in their Class S2000 Toyota Runnix. They set a benchmark time of 1 minute 10 seconds, so Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh in their Castrol Toyota Runnix knew what to aim for. Gemmell and Marsh went 2 seconds slower. Jürgen Fecken and Pierre Aries in their BP Volkswagen Polo then set the fastest time, which was equalled by Jan Habbich and Douglas Judd in the second factory BP Volkswagen Polo. Reigning champions Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson in the third factory BP Volkswagen Polo were up next. Let's take a ride on board.
Go. Chicane to the right. Chicane right, the double chicane. Into T right. Now T right. 300, right 9. That's 200, right 9. 100, right 9, 150, right 9, 100, right 9, 250, chicane to the left, 200 now, 100, chicane left, chicane to the left, into T right, go right, 100, chicane to the right, chicane to the right, and now go T left. Now you must go left. Now go left, left, left. Chicane to the right. Chicane to the right is turn left. Now turn left. Go left. Keep it going. Okay. 1:07.
And that was the fastest time on this stage so far. Championship leaders Serge Damso and Robert Paisley in their Castrol Toyota Runnix up next. And they set an equal time to Kuhn and Hodgson. Jean-Pierre Damso, the son of Serge, and co-driver Kobus Frey in their team total Toyota Runnix were 2 seconds off the pace at the end of stage 1.
The first of the Class N4 runners, Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman, in their team total Mitsubishi Evo 9. They set a time of 1 minute 13 seconds. Privateers John and Douglas Williams in their Gumerback S2000 Volkswagen Polo, just 1 second slower than the stage winners. Reigning production car champions Nicholas Ryan and Schalk van Heerden in their Vogelback Subaru Impreza, 1 second faster than Reuter and Snyman. Production car championship leaders Visser Du Plessis and Dave Lefkowitz in their Pertec Creepy Crawly Subaru WRX STI. They set the fastest time in class on this stage. Making a welcome comeback after some illness, Paul Pfeiffer along with Cindy Harding in their Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6, equaling the time set by Du Plessis and Lefkowitz.
Class A7 championship leaders Mark Cronier and Chris Birkin in their Castrol Toyota Runnix, amazingly setting the same time as the top production cars. Also in Class A7, Barry Grobbelaar and Grant Martin in their Sasselback VW Golf 4. They were 3 seconds slower in this stage than Cronier and Birkin. So at the end of stage 1, Damso and Kuhn held the joint lead, just 2 seconds ahead of Habbich and Fecken, while Du Plessis and Pfeiffer shared the N4 lead on the same time as Cronier in A7.
Stage 2 was another tar affair, Winterhoef, just outside Uitenhage over just more than 3.5 kilometers. With time so close after the opening stage, seconds would make the difference here. Despite being a Friday morning, many spectators lined the stage and the country's top rally drivers didn't disappoint them. Just 2 seconds off the pace, Jürgen Fecken and Piri Aris, who took their first ever overall win in the Zulu Rally in May and were lying third in the championship, put foot. Equally determined to stamp down their authority, former champions Jan Harwig and Douglas Judd. Coming off a win in the previous event, the total international, but 13 points down in the championship, they needed to get right up there. Having won a rally earlier this season on the road, only to be penalised for technical infringement, Etienne Lorenz and Andre Vermeulen were determined to get their first legitimate win of the season in the bag. Lorenz and Vermeulen would go third fastest on this stage, 2 seconds off the pace.
Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh won the Sassel Rally in April, courtesy of the Lorenz penalty, but had 2 non-finishers in the following 2 events, so they were looking at turning their run of bad luck around. Joint early leaders Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson came into the Volkswagen Rally second in the championship, just 4 points down, but had not won a rally yet, so this event was their chance of putting the record straight, and they duly went fastest on the stage. But the old firm of Serge Damso and Robert Paisley, championship leaders after a win in 2 seconds in the first 4 events, were not done yet. It was a masterclass in driving skills, and the pair won the stage to take a 1-second lead. Creating a lot of interest and making its debut on the national rally scene, albeit not in a point-scoring capacity, the 2-litre diesel-powered 4-wheel drive Golf 5 in the hands of Heinrich Laatgaan and Johan van den Merwe. Nicholas Ryan and Schalk van Heerden, coming into the Volkswagen Rally second in the production car championship, could not afford to lose touch with the early class N4 leaders.
Visser du Plessis was suffering from the flu, but it didn't seem to bother him at this point. Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman won the N4 fight on this stage. Tony Ball and Alan Bissett in their A7 Bulwer Park Golf were looking to strengthen their position from 4th in the class standings before this event. Their first national championship run in the ex-Etienne Lorenz Class A7 AWI Racing Toyota for Mike Nathan and Dean Riedlinghuis. Cronier and Birkin extended their lead in Class A7 by setting a time on par with the top N4 runners. But Barry Grobler and Mike Burrows had to push start their car after a starter motor failure, losing 15 minutes in the process. Musa and Dearlove in their Class N3 Team Total Toyota Runex came off a run of 3 non-finishers and were running conservatively. Sasaki and Lagranti in the same class pushing hard. So Damso won the stage by 1 second over Kuhn, with Gemmell and Lorenz just a second further back. It was clear the competitive nature of top-class rallying in South Africa was in play again, with just 6 seconds covering the top 8 crews.
Stage 3 was 4 laps around Aldo Scrimanti racetrack, going in the conventional direction, but with the cars passing through the pit lane. This was the third of the opening 4 tarmac stages, putting a premium on handling and grip. Any mistake would be severely punished. Jan Harwig and Douglas Judd had been running a conservative setup for the first 4 tar stages, which accounted for their relative lack of pace up to now, and the Scribanti stage would be no exception, the former champions dropping another few seconds to the front runners. Gemmell and Marsh had been pretty competitive so far. This is their first season in the top class of South African rallying, and they have taken to the demands of the S2000 like the proverbial ducks to water. They went a second quicker than the works Volkswagen crews on this stage. Etienne Lorenz and Andre Vermeulen just loved throwing a rally car around a racetrack, and they showed just how determined they were to stay in touch with the front runners. On this stage, they went a second quicker than Gemmell and Marsh. Serge Damso and Robert Paisley were determined to keep up the pressure and extend their tenuous lead over their rivals. Damso is an old hand at circuit racing, and once again it showed as they went 2 seconds faster than anyone else at this point. However, Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson were in an equally determined mood as we joined them on board.
Try the inside line all the way around, then keep to the right of the tyres. Okay, keep in. Keep in. Now move out to the right. Okay, lovely. Flat, that is.
Not a natural circuit racer, Kuhn showed them how to do it by going a second faster than everyone else.
In the N4 battle, Western Cape pairing Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding were settling in after Paul's two-event absence. Not that it showed, as they were not far off the class pace at all. Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman were locked in a fierce battle for the N4 lead and pushed as hard as they could. After two consecutive class wins, Visser Duplessis and Dave Leskowitz were on a roll, and they took the stage victory by a comfortable 4 seconds, although Visser still needs to learn about racing lines. The giant killers of South African rallying, Mark Cronje and Chris Birkin, once again took the Class A7 stage win to extend their lead. They've won their class on every event so far this season. So Kuhn won the stage by 1 second over Damso, which meant the two were level pegging again in the overall standings. Duplessis took the Class N4 stage win, where another exciting battle was brewing.
Stage 4 took the rally to a new development area near Roland Park outside Port Elizabeth. The original distance had to be shortened due to the tarmac still being wet. With a shortened stage distance, not much was bound to change. The only challenge for the crews to avoid the curves on the outside of some of the corners. At the sharp end of the field, Jean-Pierre Damso and Cobus Frey shared the stage victory with Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson after losing a lot of time in the previous 2 stages due to a drive shaft problem, with Serge Damso and Jürgen Fecken going joint second fastest. In N4, Visser Duplessis extended his lead over Fernando Reuter by 6 seconds, while Paul Pfeiffer moved into contention with a good run. With the tarmac stages behind him and the real rallying about to start, things couldn't be closer. Kuhn's joint stage win meant he was leading Damso by a single second, with nothing between the other front runners. In fact, in Class S2000, only 23 seconds separated the top 7 teams, with the unfortunate Damso Jr. and Frey now well out of the reckoning. In the production car category, a similarly intriguing battle was developing, with Duplessis 12 seconds clear of Reuter. Cronje led Nathan in Class A7 with a nice battle going on between De Toy and Trott in A6. Same thing in A5 between Kleinberg and Mans.
Stage 5, the first on dirt, was another new stage. At just less than 9 kilometres, it used the new oval track and some of the roads surrounding it. Could this see the first break of the stranglehold? A rally team is only as good as its crew. Having opted to replace the entire suspension for the dirt stages, Kuhn and Hodgson's crew illustrates how it's done. In practice, prior to the rally, the entire job took 28 minutes, and under pressure, the team performed even better. This stage would pose a special challenge, with varying levels of grip as it progresses. It was the first chance for crews and cars to stretch their rallying legs, and as always, the Williams pairing looked pretty spectacular. Here, Father Douglas gives son John instructions. They've had a mixed season so far, with 2 non-finishers out of 4 events, but it's their first season in the top S2000 class, and they remained impressive, if somewhat off the pace. Going 11 seconds faster than the Williams pairing, John Gemmell and Peter Marsh. Despite being first on the road and playing the role of sweeper, Etienne Lawrence and Andre Vermeulen set a respectable benchmark time of 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Let's join them on board.
Left 2. C320 over P.
Jean-Pierre Damso and Cobus Frey were working hard to overcome their deficit after their early problems, but it was going to be tough to catch up about 4 minutes. They went a second faster than their Toyota teammates. Damso Sr. and Robert Paisley were determined to delete their 1 second disadvantage to the Volkswagen frontrunners and raise the bar by 2 seconds at the end of this stage. Serge and Robert were clearly on it and enjoying the battle in their opposition's backyard.
So far it seems to be not going too badly, and basically the rally starts now, so it's still a bit earlier in the event to see, what's going to happen in the future.
Jürgen Fecken and Pierre Aries, having been elevated to the elite of South African rallying thanks to their maiden overall victory in May, were determined to challenge for the win again. This camera angle clearly demonstrates the speed of these cars, with our chopper often struggling to keep up. They went a second faster than the Toyota pair. The spectacular Jan Habich and Douglas Judd also wanted to play, and as always, they were great value for money. They were hoping that the setup of their car would allow the dirt stages to come to them, and at the end of the stage, it looked promising. They equaled the time set by their teammates. But nobody would eclipse Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson, who won the stage and extended their lead by 3 seconds. Was Enzo enjoying it?
The pressure's on. We're trying hard. Car's good. Car is the best car I've had this year.
In the production car battle, the rally chicks Lola and Megan Verlaak in their team total Subaru Impreza and the diesel Golf of Hein Lategen and Johan van der Merwe were trading blows, just off the pace of the Class N4 runners. At the sharp end of this battle, Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman were keen to close the gap to the class leaders, but it didn't quite work out and they lost another 3 seconds. Class leaders Visser du Plessis and Dave Leskowitz had their eyes set on the progress of Ryan and Van Heerden, their closest challengers for the title. From a reputation of a bit of a wild child, du Plessis has emerged as a genuine contender this season.
I've always been lucky on tar, I enjoy tar, so we've built up quite a nice substantial lead. Now we've just done the first gravel track and I managed to take a few seconds off Fernando and lost 1 to Nicholas.
The Subaru crew indeed seem to have found some of their feet in this stage after struggling a little for pace on the tar stages. But the surprise package was Pfeiffer and Harding, who took the class win by 4 seconds.
Mike Nathan and Dean Riedlinghuis were still coming to grips with their new Class A7 Toyota Corolla, Nathan getting used to the long braking distances in the faster car. Barry Krobel and Grant Martin in their A7 Golf were up to speed again after their earlier starter motor troubles, but having lost so much time, they faced a huge task to get amongst the top runners in their class. Clearly, they were going for it. Tony Ball and Alan Bissett in another Golf were looking for another podium finish in Class A7, following their 3rd place in the last round of the championship in June. Runaway Class A7 championship leaders Mark Cronier and Chris Birkin again looked untouchable in this stage, winning it by 10 seconds in class. Second in Class N3, Mohamed Musa and Henry Dearlove were struggling with the handling of their car. Championship leaders Costa Kamantarakis and Barry White had already dropped out, so the class was being led by Fasachi and Lagranchi in a similar team total Toyota Runnings. Running second in Class A6, Andy Haig-Smith and Eugene LaRue in their React Toyota Corolla RXI. Currently fourth, Sali de Toy and Gert Jansen van Rensburg. Unfortunately, this stage would spell the end of their rally due to mechanical troubles. A6 class leaders Craig Trott and Carolyn Swan in their team total Toyota Runnings.
A close third in A6, Stephen Wilkin and Gert Nienaber in the Panhard Volkswagen Polo. A close battle was also being fought in Class A5, with Steve Mearns and Kyron Noonan in their MPC-backed Toyota Taz, battling for supremacy with Andre Kleinberg and Des de Faultier in their BP Volkswagen City Golf. And championship leaders Gugu Zulu and Carl Peskin in another BP Volkswagen City Golf. In Class N2, Stephen White and Ashley Haig-Smith in their Mitsubishi Lancer were a distant second in a field with only 2 entrants. Runaway championship leaders Etienne de Toy and Patrick Vermaak in their McCarthy Toyota Corolla were having it all their own way again. So Kuhn took his 4th stage win out of 5, extending his overall lead over Serge Damso to 4 seconds. Pfeiffer took his second stage win in N4 to move into second place.
Stage 6 was the first in the Longmoor Forest where the bulk of the Volkswagen Rally would take place. Over 12.5 kilometres, this could potentially upset the apple cart. John and Douglas Williams were gradually losing touch with the front-running works cars, but they never give up in a fight. On this stage, however, they were about 40 seconds off the pace. JP Damso and Cobus Frey setting competitive times, but unable to make a significant dent in the gap to the front-runners. Still in with a chance of a good result, Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh. In this stage, however, they would drop 10 seconds to the leaders. On board with Jan Hubik and Douglas Judd, every second gained or lost could make a difference.
Right 9 into bump, left 9 in, and right 3 over crest, 70, right 2, left 1, right 1, 100, crest, right 4, kick 92, crest into, left 1, left 7 into turn, left 8 on the crest, turn left 8 into right 9, left 3 long, to crest, left 1 right 1 into left 9, left 9 into caution slow open into right, brake, left 3 tighten 100.
A crew that has won championships before, Hubik and Judd set the third fastest time on the stage. Rally leaders Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson were on the limit as well. Like the other front runners, they had no choice but to go flat out, which was just great to watch. They were 2 seconds faster than Hubik and Judd. Clearly revelling in the situation, Jürgen Fecken and Pierre Arries made their presence felt by going even faster, 1 second better than the reigning champions. Not to be outdone, however, the old masters, Serge Damso and Robert Paisley, equalled the time set by the Volkswagen youngsters and shared the stage win.
Lola and Megan Verlaque, who also compete in the African Rally Championship, continue their solid if unspectacular run. Later and van der Merwe in the diesel Golf. This car is being allowed to run in 3 Dashel events this year in an effort to develop it to a level where it can be homologated for competition. Visser du Plessis and Dave Lefkowitz dropped some time to their N4 opposition in this stage. Nicholas Ryan and Schalk van Heerden dropped 1 second in this stage to du Plessis and Lefkowitz. Bet they didn't like that. Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding maintained their impressive comeback drive right at the sharp end of the N4 field. Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman, however, won the stage, ensuring that the nail-biting fight in the production car category continued. While some spectators could seek respite, there were no such luxuries for Barry Grobelaar and Grant Martin. Well down the order, they were still giving it their all. Running fourth in A7, Tian Schubert and Greg Godrich in their Salem truck and plant hire Volkswagen Polo. The remarkable Mark Cronier and Chris Birkin were running away with Class A7 and setting times on a par with some of the Class N4 front runners. After 6 stages, the incredible battle at the top of the standings continued, with Damso closing the gap to Kuhn to 3 seconds, while du Plessis was leading Pfeiffer by 7 seconds in N4.
Stage 7, 4 ways, was just under 9 kilometres long and would be more of the same. What was great was that most of the top crews in the country were still running and slugging it out in a no-holds-barred fight. No one had a clear advantage, and the question was, who would blink first? Lying just inside the top 10 and mixing it with the N4 front runners, Class S2000 privateers John and Douglas Williams. Still fighting hard to recover lost time, JP Damso and Cobus Frey. Still playing the role of sweeper, Etienne Lawrence and Andre Vermeulen were struggling for grip and losing time. Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh went 4 seconds quicker in this stage. Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson went faster still, raising the bar by 3 seconds. Damso Sr. and Robert Paisley, trying to extend their lead, set an identical time to the Volkswagen pair. Still faster went Jürgen Fecken and Pierre Aries, beating the former multiple champions by a second. On board again with Jan Havig and Douglas Judd as they go flat out for the stage win. A great run which saw Havig and Judd share the stage win with Fecken and Aries.
In the M4 battle, Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman were gradually eking out a lead, but they could not relax at all. Nicholas Ryan and Schalk van Heerden had the bit between their teeth and took the class win on this stage. Here's a comparison on the same section of road between the performance of an S2000 car and that of a Class A7. The S2000 clearly benefiting from four-wheel drive and a more powerful engine. So, Havig took his first stage win of the Volkswagen Rally, while Kuhn still held a 3-second advantage over Damso in the overall standings. Ryan also took his first Class N4 stage win of the rally. Stage 8 was the longest stage so far, at just over 22 kilometres. One thing we could be sure of, nobody was going to give an inch, which could just lead to some mistakes. A position no rally driver wants is to run first on the road and play the sweeper role, so Etienne Lawrence was not too happy at this point.
Difficult in front because the roads are very, very loose. So we're sweeping and we're losing time every stage and there's nothing we can do about it. So we're about 10 seconds off the mix, you know, to be in the mix again. And we're lying fifth, but it's only a few seconds. But at every stage we lose a few seconds because of the loose gravel.
Holding on to a tenuous lead of only 3 seconds, Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson, who took their first national title last year, knew the pressure was on. The slightest mistake could see their lead disappear. Similarly, Serge Damso and Robert Paisley needed to keep up the pressure and close that gap without making any mistakes. 13 seconds behind in third, Jürgen Fecken and Pierre Aries.
We had a pretty good day. We lost a bit of time on the tar, but we're making up a few seconds on gravel, so I'm quite happy.
Yeah, it's a bit slippery there near the front. But we'll see this one, and tomorrow we're doing some repeat, so it should be maybe a bit better tomorrow.
Gemmell and Marsh were 6th overall, but only 31 seconds behind Kuhn and Hodgson. Still leading in 4, but only just Visser du Plessis and Dave Lefkowitz.
Still in the lead, but by 4 seconds, so I've got a different strategy. I'm not going to totally try and defend it. I'll just go a little bit harder. I know what I'm doing wrong. 3 seconds from each other, so I'm going to try and get out of the day in the lead, but I'm not going to stick my neck out. You know, my main objective now is to stay ahead of Nicholas, and there's about 24-5 seconds between us at the moment, so let's stay on the road.
Gemmell took his first stage win, while Serge Damso took a second off Kuhn, bringing the gap down to 2 seconds, with one more stage to go for the day.
The final stage of day one was the ever-popular Jeffreys Bay Town stage. Just 1.5 kilometres long, this was a stage that could prove critical to the outcome of the event. Drivers know they can't necessarily win a rally on a street stage, but they can easily lose it. Packed to the rafters, the crowd along the streets of Jeffreys Bay enjoyed the spectacle of top-class rally from close quarters. Let's rock and roll. Incredibly, Serge Damso took that stage win, his 4th of the day, beating Enzo Kuhn by 2 seconds, which meant they were level pegging at the end of day one. Overall, in S2000, Kuhn and Damso shared the lead, 11 seconds clear of Fecken, who had a 9-second cushion over Havig. Paul Pfeiffer had taken over the N4 lead, 10 seconds ahead of Reuter, while Fasaki was still ahead of Musa in N3, and Detroit held a comfortable lead in N2. Cronier was running away with A7, as was Trott in A6, while Zulu had gone to the top in A5. We'll be back with day 2
of the Volkswagen Rally over just less than 16 kilometres on dirt. It was as if the rally had started all over again. Could we see a battle right down to the wire? It's still winter, so the sun rises late, and with overnight rain and a strong wind, the temperature dropped as well. Typical rally conditions. Jean-Pierre Damso and Cobus Frey, 17th overall in their team total Toyota Runex. 5th overnight in their Castrol Toyota Runex, Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh. Although it wasn't muddy, the rain did soften the surface. Joint leaders Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson in the works BP Volkswagen Polo. 4th overnight, Jan Habig and Douglas Judd in another of the works BP Volkswagen Polos. 6th overall, and on the road, Etienne Lawrence and Andre Vermeulen in their team total Toyota Runex. They really enjoyed not having to sweep anymore. 3rd overall, just 11 seconds off the pace, Pretoria Cape Town pairing Jürgen Fecken and Peri Aris. Co-leaders Serge Damso and Robert Paisley in the works Castrol Toyota Runex. Their determination was proven when they took the stage win by 5 seconds.
Overnight production car leaders Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding in their Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6. Theirs had been a heroic performance after missing the previous 2 events due to illness. Nicholas Ryan and Schalk van Heerden in their Bozel-backed Subaru Impreza. They were only 4th in class overnight and needed a big day. Feeling better after a fluish day yesterday, N4 championship leaders Visser Du Plessis and Dave Letkovich. Needing to make up a deficit of 10 seconds, Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman. They won the stage, beating Pfeiffer and Harding by 14 seconds and took the N4 lead. 2nd in A7 overnight, Mike Nathan and Dean Riedlinghates in their AWI Toyota Corolla. 4th in A7 were Tiens Hubert and Greg Godrich in their Salem truck and plant hire Volkswagen Polo. Comfortably in the A7 lead in their Castrol Toyota Runex, Mark Cronier and Chris Birkin could clinch the title should they take their 5th consecutive victory here.
Craig Trott and Carolyn Swan also held a comfortable lead in their Class A6 team total Toyota Runex. They were looking good for their 3rd class win of the season. Running 3rd in A6, Stephen Wilkin and Gert Nienaber in their Panhard Volkswagen Polo. They won their class on the Sasol Rally in April. Class N3 leaders Rodney Versace and Armin Legranzi in their team total Toyota Runex. Running a solid 2nd in N3, team total Toyota Runex teammates Mohamed Musa and Henry Dearlove. 2nd in N2, Stephen White and Ashley Haig-Smith in their Mitsubishi Lancer. Well on their way to clinching the N2 title, class leaders Etienne de Toy and Patrick Remarque in their McCarthy Toyota Corolla. Class A5 leaders Gugu Zulu and Carl Peskin in their BP Volkswagen City Golf. They were being chased by Steve Mearns and Chiara Noonan in their MPC Toyota Taz. Damso won stage 10, taking an overall lead of 5 seconds over Kuhn, while Reuter had taken over the lead in Class N4.
Stage 11 was a rerun of stages 6 and 7 combined, bringing it to a total stage distance of just under 22 kilometres. At the front, the question was being asked whether Serge Damso had made the definitive break, or could Kuhn hit back? There was still some drizzle in the air, Jürgen Fecken here needing to employ his windscreen wipers to ensure good visibility. Take note of how smoothly and economically he drives, going just 2 seconds slower than Enzo Kuhn. And speaking of Kuhn, he knew he had to throw everything at the rally leader, otherwise the old man would simply get away. Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh trying to get back into touch with the leading group. Etienne Lawrence and Andre Vermeulen now enjoying much more grip than the previous day. Rally leaders Serge Damso and Robert Paisley knew that they had to hammer home their advantage on this stage and went about it beautifully. Let's just watch them in action. Damso and Paisley did exactly what was required, taking 7 seconds off Kuhn and Hodgson and extending their overall lead to 12 seconds.
Jan Habig and Douglas Judd found the handling of their car much more to their liking on day 2 and were flying. Just watch this. In fact, they were going so well that they won the stage, going 3 seconds faster than the Toyota pairing and a full 10 seconds quicker than teammates Kuhn and Hodgson. Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding had dropped to second in the production car category, but would lose more time in stage 11. Perhaps the exertion was beginning to take its toll. Fischer du Plessis and Dave Lefkowitz gave away 8 seconds to their title rivals in this stage. Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman went 6 seconds faster than the Subaru crew, looking at consolidating their lead in the class. But Nicholas Ryan and Schalk van Heerden came with a serious charge, winning the stage in class and taking 12 seconds off Pfeiffer and Harding and 2 seconds off Reuter and Snyman. Here's another comparison for you. The difference between an S2000 car and that of a Class N4 car. Keep in mind both are four-wheel driven, but the N4 car is also turbocharged. Habig took the second stage win of the event, but crucially Damso extended his lead over Kuhn to 12 seconds. Ryan took the N4 stage win to creep closer to the top 3.
Stage 12 was 22 kilometres of gravel, still in the Longmoor Forest, and once again it could prove crucial to the outcome of the fight up front. If Damso was able to extend the gap even further, it was doubtful whether anyone would be able to fight back. We join Jürgen Fecken and Pierre Aries in the cockpit.
Long right 7 opens. 50. Left 6 in. Keep in on the left 6. Into right 3 in. Keep in, keep in. 100. Long right 3. Tightens to 7. 100. Dip. Left 9. 100, long right 7 opens. Into left 4, right 5. Keep in on the 5. This is left 4, right 5, keep in. Then turn off fork right 6, no cut. Turn off fork right 6, no cut. 150, left 5 in.
The Volkswagen pair went 5th fastest on this stage. But this is where the action was. Could Kuhn and Hodgson do anything about the flying Toyota pair at the top of the standings?
It's a big fight today. All the guys are really trying hard, and there's absolutely nothing in it. You know, we started on the same second this morning. Serge just managed to pull some time from us.
Kuhn and Hodgson couldn't do it, dropping another 11 seconds to Damso and Paisley. Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh were also flying, going 9 seconds faster than the Volkswagen pairing. Habig and Judd had no problems in this stage, going a second faster than Gemmell and Marsh.
We're really trying very hard this morning, but the cars are very sensitive to tyre choices on the stages, so the tyre choices are very critical, although it only makes a difference of 0.3 of a second a kilometre, but it does count after 20 kilometres.
And once again, Serge Damso and Robert Paisley did it, taking their 6th stage win and extending their overall lead to 23 seconds.
A tough day out there today, so I just hope we can keep it going.
Then, problems for Lawrence and Vermeulen as they passed their car in a ditch. Game over. Nicholas Ryan and Schalk van Heerden had the bit between their teeth, now ahead of Duplessis and Lefkowitz. However, things didn't go according to plan, and the Subaru WRX crew clawed back 7 seconds. Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding made a great mini comeback in this stage, finishing just 1 second slower than the stage winners, even though they had their moments. Another stage win in N4 for Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman. It seemed unlikely that anyone would catch them.
Yeah, it's been quite good. You know, we've been quite focused today. It's very close up here in production cars. And I must say we started at 12 behind this morning, 14, and now we are comfortably in front.
Danso took that stage by 1 second over Habeck, but his overall lead now stood at 23 seconds over Kuhn. Reuter was 15 seconds ahead of Pfeiffer in N4. Overall, and in S2000, Kuhn and Habeck were even Stevens in second place, with only 42 seconds separating the top 5. Reuter led Pfeiffer in N4, while in N3 Musa had drawn level with Versace. De Toine for Mark still held sway in N2. In A7, nobody could touch Cronier. Trott had a comfortable lead in A6, while Zulu was pulling away.
He ran just over 20 kilometres in the Longmore Forest. Amazingly, most of the front runners were still in with a chance, and no one was taking any bets. This had turned into one of the most exciting rallies in years. In Class A5, leaders Gugu Zulu and Carl Peskin seemed to have it all under control. The same held for Etienne de Toy, a former circuit racer, and Patrick Vermaak in N2. Mohamed Musa and Henry Dierlove took the lead in N3 on this stage. Craig Trott and Carolyn Swan held a comfortable lead in A6. While Mark Cronier and Chris Birkin were well on their way to clinching the A7 title. Now the N4 runners. Second place, Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding. Ahead of Visser Duplessis and Dave Lefkowitz. Class leaders Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman. And fourth place defending champions Nicholas Ryan and Schalk van Heerden. S2000 now joined second overall Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson. Also in second, Jan Habeck and Douglas Judd. On board with fourth place Jürgen Fecken and Pierre Aris.
And turn right 7, keep in, long right 3, and turn right 7 in. Turn right 7 in. 200 bump, left 2, and right 1, then C200 into Scholl's corner, Kier right 8, no cut. Hairpin left, into long right 6 opens.
The pair enjoyed a good run on stage 13, going second fastest by only 2 seconds. Rally leaders Serge Dancer and Robert Paisley took another 3 seconds off Habeck and Judd, while Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh took their second stage victory. So Gemmell won the stage, while Damso extended his lead to 26 seconds over Habeck, with Kuhn dropping to third.
Stage 14 was just over 20 kilometres long and included a rerun of stages 6 and 7, but in the opposite direction. Damso pretty much had it in the bag by now, with the attention turning to the battle for second overall. Jean-Pierre Damso and Cobus Frey, still well outside the top 10, were still putting up some respectable times in their laborious climb up the order. Jürgen Fecken and Pierre Aris were beginning to look good for a podium finish and were still pushing hard. They were hoping to haul in teammates Kuhn and Hodgson for third position.
Into left 7 opens. 100 right 9 into left 9 over up. Into right 1. And hairpin right dip. 100 long left 5 opens. 100 deceptive left 9 deep in tightens. And dip. 50 hairpin right. And left 2.
They would set the fourth fastest time on this stage, but 2 seconds slower than their target. Damso could now afford to let the others fight for the scrap, and he went third fastest in this stage. Kuhn and Hodgson took 8 seconds back from Habeck and Judd. Gemmell took their second consecutive stage victory in stage 14 and so closed up the gap between first and fifth. Reuter and Snyman was controlling the pace up front in the production car category. Duplessis and Lefkowitz took 1 second off the class leader and edged 4 seconds closer to Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding in second. Ryan van Heerden, however, was still looking threatening, and they took their second consecutive and fourth class stage win in total. So Gemmell took that stage win, while Danso now led Kuhn by 31 seconds, with Harvick 2 seconds further back.
Stage 15 was the penultimate stage in this year's Volkswagen Rally and the final one on gravel. A repeat of the oval track stage from earlier. At just over 8 kilometres, it could well produce a sting in the tail. Jean-Pierre Danso and Cobus Frey, now 12th overall. Let's join our rally leaders and potential winners, Serge Danso and Robert Paisley, in the cockpit.
Go left 9 over gate. Go out. Left 9 over gate. And left 2 fast. 320. Left 3. Vincent and left 3. 50 right 6. Left 3, 50 right 6. Right 6. 80. Crest mid into left 2. Crest mid into left 2. Left 2 into right 5. Over dip. 120. Right 4. Right 4 here. And then 200. Right 3 into right 4. Right 3 into right 4. Into a left 3. Right 4 here and then left 3. Right 8.
They were clearly controlling their pace and ended the stage 9 seconds off the pace. Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh 5 seconds faster than their teammates on this stage. Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson concerned about their second place. And so they should have been, as Jan Hubbeck and Douglas Judd took back those 2 seconds, leaving the two crews to level peg with 1 stage to go. Going 2 seconds faster, Jürgen Fecken and Pierre Aries took their third stage win of the event. In N4, Nicholas Ryan and Schalk van Heerden were desperately trying to move onto the podium. Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman knew they had this one in the bag, provided they could stay upright and mobile. Fitzer Duplessis and Dave Leskowitz went for it and won the stage in their class, moving to within 1 second of Pfeiffer and Harding in second place. With just 1 short car stage to go, Danso held a 26-second lead over both Kuhn and Hubbeck, while the fight for second in N4 behind Reuter was also yet to be concluded.
The final stage on this year's Volkswagen Rally, the always popular Kings Beach stage on tarmac, over just more than 1 kilometre. As we said before, a rally normally doesn't get won on a stage like this, but it can easily be lost. A festive atmosphere with lots to see and do for the spectators before the action begins. What a beautiful collection of fine cars. The crowd was excited when the cars took to the stage, perhaps tinged with a little sadness amongst the majority that their home team wasn't going to pull off the win. Always a crowd favourite, Gugu Zulu, along with Carl Peskin, would celebrate their 4th class win out of 5 rallies held so far this season. Also celebrating for bringing the car home, new Class N2 champions Etienne de Toy and Patrick Vermaak from the Western Cape, taking their 5th successive class victory this season. Their strategy was just to finish after 3 consecutive non-finishes, but Mohamed Musa and Henry Dearlove did far better by taking their N2 victory, their 2nd of the season. Craig Trott and Carolyn Swan took their 3rd Class A6 victory of the season and should be well set to clinch the title. Their winning margin was some 6 minutes. Also, an uncatchable in their title chase now, taking their 5th successive A7 victory, Mark Cronier and Chris Birkin. Fitzer Duplessis and Dave Lefkowitz shared the overall stage victory and took 2nd in N4 by 5 seconds, but nobody could touch Fernando Reuter and Gerard Snyman, who took their 2nd production car win of the season.
We were fast asleep, obviously, yesterday. I don't know why not. We just woke up this morning and we were a lot quicker. In some of the stages, we've taken more than a second ahead of our own times. We were just much more committed. It was great, and you know, we dominated it today the whole day in the middle of the road, and you know, kept them coming. That's in the second. So it was good. It was very good. I think we won just about every one, and it was fine. It was very good.
Jan Habig and Douglas Judd broke the deadlock for second overall by going 1 second faster than their teammates.
We tried hard today. Half worked for us, but you know, we got a puncher third stage, last stage, lost good 15 seconds, and that was it. But you know, the cars are very close. Everyone's trying very, very hard. The pace is absolutely 101%, and you know, a bit of luck helps now and then.
They've got a comfortable 26 seconds.
But the glory belonged to Serge Damso and Robert Paisley, who became the first two-time winners this season. Their margin over Habig and Judd was only 25 seconds.
You know, today we had a good rally, and we started this morning with an even time with Inza, and we had to work quite hard, and I really enjoyed this event, and I've always done well in this event, so unfortunately it's a Volkswagen event, but nice winning it.
The final stage win was shared between Duplessis and Habig, while Damso's winning margin and the closely fought battle at the top of the overall standings was a testament to the competitiveness of rallying in South Africa these days. In fact, only 34 seconds covered the top 5 teams. Equally tight, the battle in N4 saw a winning margin of less than half a minute. In N3, Musa won comfortably from Pisagi, and in N2, Du Toit was also well ahead of White. In A7, A6 and A5, the winning margins of around 6 minutes belie the fact that generally in these classes, the battles are also quite closely fought. The celebrations on the podium by winners Damso and Paisley not only reflected their joy at winning their opposition's home event, but also that it had extended their lead in the championship. But you know what? The season is far from over.